showtime. Woo! Welcome to the Mafia Sports Report. I am Tommy, and today I want to talk about the 2017 Buffalo Bills. Y'all remember the 2017 Buffalo Bills, right? They broke the 17-year drought, the playoff drought, that is. And believe me, that was a very long 17 years if you're a Buffalo Bills fan. A lot of heartbreak, a lot of misery. And 2017 was not supposed to be the year that they broke the drought. In fact, that was supposed to be a total rebuild team, that in which it was. And it was supposed to be a team that was supposed to probably win 5-6 games. We all know what happened 2017, but let me give you a flashback of 2017. So Rex Ryan, as you guys know, was fired after week 16, and Anthony Lynn took over as the head coach week 17, so the final game of that season. And in replacement was Sean McDermott, who was hired in January 11th. So he was hired pretty quickly as the new head coach of the Buffalo Bills. Also fired was defensive coordinator Dennis Thurman. Leslie Frazier was brought in January 13th. Linebackers coach Bobby April fired. Bobby Babich came in January 13th. Offensive line coach Aaron Cromer, who is now our offensive line coach, kind of funny, but he was fired in 2017. Juan Castillo came in January 13th. He also didn't work out because OG Bobby Johnson actually was hired, I believe, in 2021, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, 2020, if I'm not mistaken on that. Also, defensive line coach John Blake fired. Tight ends coach Tony Soprano Jr. fired. Running backs coach Anthony Lynn resigned because he didn't get the job as head coach. Offensive coordinator Greg Roman fired. Assistant offensive line coach Pat Meyer fired. Quarterbacks coach David Lee fired. Are you getting where I'm going with this? Every single one of the personnel of the previous year was fired and replaced by different head coaches once Sean McDermott came in as head coach. Also, front office general manager Doug Whaley fired in May, right after the draft. Brandon Beane was hired May 9th. Also, player personnel advisor Kevin Fisher fired. Assistant general manager, which was vacant at the time, was filled in by Joe Shane, who now is with the Giants. Player personnel director Jim Monos was fired. And then we had a bunch of vacant positions at that time. Also, if you want to know about the roster changes, we had a lot of players signed. Most notably was Micah Hyde and was Jordan Poyer in 2017. Both signed March 9th. And those were the big acquisitions for the Buffalo Bills. Also, Reed Ferguson, who's still with the team today, long snapper as well. Other than that, the rest of the signings are not, I don't believe they are on the roster today, but we did sign 2, or actually 3 key pieces that are still with this team today. Now, departures. As you guys know, Robert Woods signed with the Rams. Stephon Gilmore, which was a big free agent, went to the Patriots, signed a massive deal there. EJ Manuel, obviously, we weren't going to keep him around. He went to the Raiders, and I believe they cut him. So those are the most notable departures. Now, trades. Here's where Brandon Beane made his work right away for this 2017 team. He pretty much started gutting this team out. A lot of Bills Mafia were not happy with some of these decisions that he made, most notably Marcel Darius, who was traded to the Jacksonville Jaguars for a 6th-round pick in October of 2017. So pretty much right away, during the season, actually, during the season there in 2017, was traded away. Also, Kelvin Benjamin was traded from Carolina to Buffalo. That was probably Brandon Beane's worst trade as a general manager, and that still haunts him today. We gave up a third and a seventh round. We also traded away Sammy Watkins in August, right before the season started, for a sixth-round pick. We also received EJ Gaines in return. Also, Ronald Darby was traded to the Eagles for a third-round pick. We also received Jordan Matthews, who didn't work out. Reggie Ragland, y'all remember him. He was a draft pick that didn't work out, but we got a fourth-round pick from the Kansas City Chiefs. So yeah, man. So he did some trading right away. Also, Cardell Jones, by the way, traded for a seventh-round pick. If you guys don't remember him, from Ohio State, we drafted him late. So that was just, hey, let me get a pick back for him. But the one that stuck out to me most was obviously the Marcel Darius. A lot of Bills Mafia was not happy, was wondering what is he doing. Clearly, he was getting rid of players that didn't fit, the locker room and what they were basically doing or planning on doing in Buffalo moving forward. Also, the contract they wanted to get rid of as well. So, in hindsight, obviously, we know now that was a good trade. Though Darius was a solid player, he just wasn't going to fit, Sean McDermott's, system, and just, they wanted the right players, the right mindset in Buffalo, and they just didn't feel like he had it. Also, some cuts. Kicker, Dan Carpenter, long time Buffalo Bill kicker, really a really good kicker. They went ahead and released him. There's times his playing ability as a kicker by then was starting to diminish. So it was actually a good cut. He was probably, if I'm looking at the list here, he probably was the most notable cut. But by then, the writing was on the ceiling for him as a kicker, Dan Carpenter. So nobody really was. Aaron Williams actually, was cut, but he had the neck thing going on. He wound up retiring anyways. Marcus Easley, you guys remember him. Buffalo tried and tried with him. He just didn't work out. Other than that, there was really no notable big time name cuts. Now, retirements. Percy Harvin wound up retiring. Anquan Bolden. I don't even think Anquan Bolden stepped on the field. We signed him that offseason, I believe, and he wound up retiring right away. Percy Harvin retired in March of 2017. He didn't play for us either. He played for us the previous year, got hurt right away, and just, went ahead and retired. Draft, 2017 draft. Now, here is the interesting thing. We went ahead and traded down, and we picked up Tre'Davious White 27th. The Chiefs, who we traded for, wanted up picking Patrick Mahomes up. A lot of people were like, oh my God, Buffalo made the hugest mistake in the world. But we wanted up, obviously, as you guys know, drafting Josh Allen this next year in 2018. So it worked out for the Buffalo Bills. And they got a great corner in Trey White, who we're all hoping that he can bounce back from the ACL better this upcoming season. And I believe he will do that. With the round 2, we went ahead and got Zay Jones, who just didn't work out in Buffalo. He's actually had a bounce back career. And I would say he's an okay number 2, number 3 receiver in the NFL, but good for him. I'm happy for him that it's worked out elsewhere for him. And coming in round 2 as well was Deion Dawkins. And y'all know how that went. Deion Dawkins has, been, a Pro Bowl guard in this league. And I'm sorry, left tackle in this league. And, just a solid player for the Buffalo Bills. Matt Milano, obviously, it's been a solid linebacker Pro Bowler. We drafted him in round 5. So that worked out very well. Nathan Peterman, we drafted him in round 5. Obviously, you guys know Nate Peterman did not work out, and we wound up trading him in 2019, I believe. And then we drafted Tanner Velagio, linebacker, round 6. Did not work out either. But out of all these players, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, out of 6 of the players that we drafted here, I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 6. 3 of them worked out for us, and one of them is still playing in the NFL today, which is Zay Jones. And I think even Nathan Peterman may still have a job somewhere, but he's not very good. Undrafted free agents, Jason Kroom, as you remember, he was a tight end. He, believe it or not, stayed on the roster for probably longer than he should have, but he was also dating, the Bagula's daughter, so that might have helped him staying on the team a little longer than most expected. Other than that, all the UDFAs did not work out for this team. Yeah, none of them that I'm looking at now. So interesting here. So we start off with the season with a win versus the Jets. We go at home. We win 21-12. Then we go to Carolina. We lose 9-3. Not a pretty game there. Putting up 3 points. We go to Denver. We win 26-16. Then we go to Atlanta. We won 23-17. Then we go to Cincinnati. We lose 20-16. So our record at this point is 3-2. Then we go to Tampa. We win 30-27. We go to Oakland, which, by the way, was Oakland. Now they're Las Vegas. We win 34-14. And now here's where we start to dip a little bit. We go to New York. We lose to New York Jets. We lose 34-21. Then we go to New Orleans Saints. We lose 47-10. We got spanked there. We go to the Chargers. We lose 54-24. My God. The defense giving up 54 points to the Chargers. I didn't even remember that, but that's really bad. Then, believe it or not, we go to KC and we wind up winning. Well, KC wasn't what they are now, but we wind up winning 16-10. And now our record is 6-5. Then we go to New England, we lose 23-3. We are 6-6. And then right here is where I'm thinking, that's probably it for the Bills. They have now lost 4 out of their last 5 games. It's not looking good. And I don't think anyone had high expectations for this Bills team, even with the hot start there when we were 5-2. So now we're 6-6 after losing to the Patriots. We go back home, play the Colts. We win in overtime, 13-7. And y'all remember that game. That was the snow game. And it was an epic game. That's where Shady McCoy, has the game-winning run for the touchdown, and we wind up winning 13-7. Now our record is 7-6. We then play the Miami Dolphins at home. We win 24-16. We are now 8-6, and people are saying, "Whoa, there is a possibility that we can make the playoffs." There's 2 games remaining, but then we go to New England and we get spanked 37-16. We are now 8-7. We need a miracle. So then we go to Miami and we win 22-16. We are now 9-7. But we need help, folks. We need help. And that help is going to come from the Cincinnati Bengals, who are playing the Baltimore Ravens. And what do? They, on a last drive, 4th down, they wind up getting a touchdown from Tyler Boyd from the Red Rifle, and they won 31-27, which got our Buffalo Bills into the playoffs after 17 long, heartbreaking season. And we winded up going against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who were the number 3 seed. We were the number 6, and we lost 10-3. Tyrod Taylor gets knocked out of that game, and Nathan Peterman does Nathan Peterman things, throws an interception at the end of the game, and that was all she wrote for the Buffalo Bills. But the reason why I want to talk about this 2017 team is it kind of shows you, how good, like how much it was needed to get a quality head coach on this team. And a GM that knows what he's doing. Um, Now, listen, you know, I am a little tough on Sean McDermott. I think that he's still, he's a little hard headed, he's a little stubborn, and, but he is a good coach because going back 17 long seasons with different head coaches, different GMs, and we just could not get into the playoffs. We were dysfunctional. And then also the addition of Brandon Bean over Doug Whaley, and all the moves that he made entering the 2017 season showed you everything, or actually told you and showed you everything that was needed to be a playoff team. And we winded up going to the playoff where we weren't supposed to go. And we wanted to finish 9-7. And by the way, that Jacksonville Jaguar team made it all the way to the AFC Championship game against the Patriots. And they battled the Patriots. So that was not an easy team. And we hung in there. We lost 10-3. Unfortunately, our offense was not very good. Our defense, for the most part, held it down, just couldn't get the job done. But you got to give credit to that team for what they did in 2017. And now we're here. We've won 3 AFC East. We won the AFC East 3 consecutive years. And I think we're going to win 4 in a row. I understand the AFC East got tougher, but listen, um, like I said, for as much as I dog on or give a hard time to Sean McDermott, because he hasn't gotten us to the promised land, which is the Super Bowl, he's done a very good job for this team. He's brought in the right players, in my opinion. Now, some of them, of course, you're not gonna bat 1,000 guys. He's obviously made some mistakes on some of the players that we sign, and so has Brandon Bean. It hasn't been perfection, but it's been very, very solid. Uh, um, you know, as far as what their job, for as far as being a GM, drafting the right players, as far as Brandon Beans re-signing the right players, cutting the guys that weren't weren't players that they felt were going to be a part, that fit basically what they were going to do in Buffalo. Like I said, the Marcel Dariuses of the world, they weren't going to resign players that were heavy duty contracts. That were, it just wasn't going to happen. They weren't going to reach for a quarterback that they felt like wasn't going to be the franchise quarterback. And they were patient, and it shows where we're at today, and the players we have in this locker room, what vision they saw back in 2017. And I'm proud of this team, proud of being a Buffalo Bills fan. I really hope before I leave this world that we win a Super Bowl. And I truly believe with this team, we can. We just, we got to just keep on, grinding away. You got to, I thought the draft went very well. You know, as long as they use the pieces they got correctly. That is the big question mark. Also, Ken Dorsey, who I love, but he needs to show that he can, improve this offense year 2 under his watch. Year 1 was kind of a bumpy ride for him, though I think he gets a little bit too much heat. We were still a top 5 offense. I believe we were second in the league in offense and scoring, right behind the Chiefs. So, I think he gets a little bit too much, heat for this, for, how the season ended. I don't think it was all his fault. You kind of got to look at the big picture there. I think it was everybody's fault. I think it was personnel. I think it was I think it was personnel. I think it was coaching. I think we also had a string of bad luck with injuries. I think the offseason stuff didn't help. I think, just a lot played into last season. And I know that sounds like a lot of excuses, but I think it's okay sometimes if they're validated excuses. And last year, we can, a lot of those things validate and say, hey, you know what I mean? With the DeMar thing, right? With Vaughn going down out for the season, Jordan Poyer, right? Micah Hyde going out for the season, which was a huge loss for us. Josh Allen's arm. I mean, all these things can affect any team, right? But we fought through it. We got, to a divisional game and we lost against the Bengals, who are a very tough team. But this year coming up, I think, and listen, going into this season coming up, I think we have an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl. I think we have an opportunity to win the Super Bowl if we can remain healthy, if our players that we drafted, do what we expect them to do. I truly believe in Kincaid. As long as Dorsey can find, a get a role for him on this offense, which he needs to, because he's a top 15 player in the draft that slipped down to 25. And Osiris Torrance is an absolute dog who we got lucky and got him in the second round, is a player that now can help out this O line, especially with run blocking and pass blocking. And I just think, listen, with the second year coming in, Shakir, I believe Shakir can be an absolute beast in this league. Diggs is going to be playing mad. I believe he did not like the way the season ended last year, which I don't blame him. Right, Josh Allen coming back from that shoulder, that UCL, sprain or whatever you want to call it. He's going to be healthy. He wants to get that Super Bowl. Von Miller should return by week 4. He wants to prove to everyone in the world that he can win another Super Bowl on another team, and he wants to do what he said he was going to do when he came to Buffalo, which is win a Super Bowl. You also got Jordan Poyer, who came back, right? That most of us, including myself, did not believe he was going to come back. He did. Micah Hyde is returning also from a neck injury, and I think he has something to prove, right? You got the James Cook, who wants to prove that he is a number 1 running back, right? Because now that Devin Singletary's left, James Cook now is going to take on that role as RB1, right? And like I said, then you got players like Gregory Rousseau, who's going to year 3, right? Who has stuff to prove. You got Ed Oliver, who's on a contract deal. He's going to want to get paid, so he's going to ball out, or he's going to try to ball out, right? You got Jordan Phillips returning, right? There's a lot of good players that have something to prove, in my opinion. Then you got Puna Ford, who signed a 1-year deal, who's looking to get paid. So he's going to try to ball out. So there's a lot of really good things to watch out for entering the 2023 season. And that's a really good reason why also I feel like the Buffalo Bills have an opportunity to get to the Super Bowl. We have a veteran, like I said, a veteran coaching staff now. There's no more excuses for Sean McDermott for the mistakes he's made in the past. I do believe that if he doesn't get the job done this year, that he will be on the hot seat. Will they fire him? That is I don't know. It depends how the season ends. But he needs to now, like, you are no more a rookie head coach. You've been in this team for a while now, coaching this team. You've pretty much got the same players, right? Same quarterback, right? Second year offensive coordinator who's actually been on the team since 2020. So there's just really no excuses now for the same mistakes, right? You are now taking over Leslie Frazier's job as DC. Okay. So he's not on the hot seat now, but like I said, guys, depends how the season goes, but I still believe in him. Okay. He's gotten this far. And like I said, in 2017, that team was not supposed to be a playoff team. That team was not supposed to win 9 games, 6 at the most, guys. So I believe in him. I believe in Brandon Beane. I believe in this team. And I appreciate you guys watching this video. And as always, go Bills. I'm out. Peace.